Welcome to another edition of the Wedding Wednesday Report, where I am once again coming to you from pre-Wedding Hour Live with Amanda from Papakata. We've already spoken with Amanda about business, how she made the transition from bride to business owner. Not just business owner, but very successful business owner with both Sperry Tents and the teepees that you have. And really what I wanted to talk about today, it was a much sexier subject than business. Styling. It's the thing we all love. It's the thing we're all interested in. So what's the advantage of styling in a tent or a venue of this description?
I think ultimately it's the flexibility that it gives you. You know, a company like Papakata can deliver a tent with nothing in it, or a tent sort of fully clothed, as it were, and you can actually do whatever you want with the tent.
So a bit more like a blank canvas.
Absolutely, yes. And you can style it in the way that you want it to be, and you know, it's the flexibility, but it's also the ability to zone different areas. So when we work with our clients to build floor plans, we can build in dance areas, chill out areas, dining areas, so that throughout the day of the wedding, actually, the space sort of changes and transforms, and
which is really nice, and especially given the fact that weddings have such a range of ages as well. You can have appropriate areas for different parts of the party.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, the tent looks one way during the day, but actually at night, again, it transforms into a different space.
Whole different look.
You know, and that's the beauty of an outdoor event, is that, you know, you're taking on nature, really.
Aren't you just? Now, of course, a lot of our students are wedding planners, and with something like this, they don't always think about the fact that there are things that need to be considered when you are putting a tent in the middle of a field. So from a wedding planner's perspective, what do they need to consider if they have a client that wants to have a wedding or an event in a Sperry tent?
Yeah, so you definitely need to bring the whole venue to that area. So things like power from a generator, and obviously the size of generator depends on the suppliers that you're using.
And you can advise them on that.
Absolutely. So you tell us what you need, and we'll advise. Toilets, you know, and it might be that you want loads of toilets or just a small one. They might be posh. They might not be posh, and you know, I think it's really important to remember that it is an outdoor venue. So anything you have in a normal venue, you just won't have here.
Catering is another
catering,
thing.
Absolutely, bringing that, and you know, and the caterers bring their own needs, like they might need water, and if that's in the middle of the field, where do you get water from? So it's about bringing all those elements to the space.
And would you suggest that, for example, when you're scouting the venue itself as to where it's going to be, bringing all those different people together to the site visit, i.e. bringing your caterer, bringing your planner, meeting with you guys, and everybody being aware of what the challenges are if you are in the middle of a field somewhere?
Yeah. I think absolutely in an ideal world, but it's also, you know, as long as you trust the suppliers, they've probably worked in that space lots, and so I think it's about working with reputable people who you know that can deliver. And things do go wrong in events, you know, the generator might fail, and those kind of things can happen, and it's actually not what happens, it's how you deal with it. And if you work with a company that's done this many times before, then you can be reassured that they'll work to resolve the issues.
Absolutely. Well, the other big thing is logistics. So from a logistical point of view, what is it that a new planner needs to consider? Because obviously they're not aware that it can take quite a long time to set up a tent like this. You can't set it up the day of the wedding, you know. So what are some of the logistical things they need to look out for?
I think for us it's not just about the setup as well, it's about before the setup. So we look to finalise every event 5 weeks before the party, so that means understanding how many guest numbers you've got coming, and you know, the types of seating you need, just so that we can make sure everything's coming at the right time. So we ask for that 5 weeks before, and then, you know, if it was a Saturday wedding, we'd always set up on either the Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday to make sure that everything was in place. But also to give the client or the planner time to actually dress the tent as well. So, you know, little things happen in outdoor venues today. In this tent, when I came in, we had to pick up maybe 100 worms, a few dead beetles.
Nice. So that's a real glamorous side to the business,
so you know, all these things need to be considered, and logistically some things can't happen until right before the bride arrives, things like laying tablecloths, because they might get dirty, and so it's really understanding what needs to be done and when, and being super organised about having that timeline. And then of course your client will feel reassured that it is going to happen.
Well, that's all great advice. this tent can be done in a myriad of different ways, and I'm sure you've got certain themes that you suggest to people that work particularly well in an environment such as this. Can you talk to us about some of the most popular styled themes that you do here in the Sperry Tents?
Well, it's quite interesting because the last sort of 2-3 years it's been all about vintage and been super eclectic.
Huge.
Yeah, it's been really huge. We're seeing a bit of a move away from that now, and actually our clients are looking for cleaner lines, slightly more minimal but still feeling comfortable and cozy, rustic but not being too rustic. It's like that kind of balance.
There's a sort of shift, isn't there? And I've noticed that over in the States too, because everything seems to trickle through from there, and we spend quite a lot of time over in California, and that's exactly where it's been going for the past year too. Yeah,
we've got 2 quite clear styles for the Sperry at the moment, and we've got the Hamptons Country, which is, you know, slight nautical tones, lots of glass. We've actually got wine barrels from France as coffee tables, you know, and just little touches like that. So it's still country, but it's still clean lines. It's not too like fluffy, that kind of thing.
No, that wouldn't fit in with the Hamptons type set at all, would it?
And we've also got another line which is actually more for parties, which we call the Sperry Luxe, which is very Ibethan and white and, you know, Moroccan cushions, and so that's something that actually people are really buying into at the moment as well.
Okay, so that one's popular at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. More with sort of high-end parties.
Yeah. But again, it's those clean lines, isn't it? But it is still about, there's a lot of personality involved in weddings at the moment. People are really showcasing who they are. It's not about the parents anymore, it's about the couple themselves, their lives, and what they're trying to project through the wedding tends to be more of the story about them. So I guess that all kind of marries in a way.
Absolutely.
So Amanda, we have a lot of students on our diploma in wedding planning, styling and design. It is by far our most popular course. All the girls want to do pretty, but they want to marry that with the planning side of things. So you do styling on a regular basis, and I know that you do a lot of research as well, that you spend time on the, you know, lovely styling blogs and the magazines and interior design and that side of things. So what would Amanda's top styling tips be for our students?
I think my first one would really keep abreast of the fashion, but actually make sure you don't focus on weddings. So, you know, it starts with, industry. And I actually feel like it starts with interiors. So, you know, the fashion in there is very important, but it's so quick firing, it doesn't really stay around long enough. But actually, you know, we're looking at these like magazines like Living, etc., and blogs online to do with that, you know, things like the Scandinavian influence and geometrics and things like that. We're really sort of honing in on the interiors, and we almost look to that more than we do to the wedding magazines to see where it's coming in a year's time,
because it's already happened if it's in the wedding magazines. You actually want to know where it's going to come from.
And the weddings we're planning now are actually for 2015 and 2016, so it's really important to stay a year ahead as opposed to, you know,
being
a few
months.
Of
what's happening at the moment. So that would be your top tips.
My top tip.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for spending time with us again. It's going to be a fabulous event. I need to let you go so you can finish setting the event up and we can all have a great time tonight. Again, this has been another edition of the Wedding Wednesday Report. Later we will be coming to you live from Wedding Hour, which will be a lot of fun. And again, don't forget, if you want to become a wedding planner, stylist or designer, you need to visit our website. You know what it is. See you next week.